So today we gotta talk about this. Also, hello, my friends, and welcome to the positive corner of the wrestling internet world. Don't know what that means, but we always look for the positive things in life because it makes you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum, but that's right. AEW Dynamite happened last night, if you are watching this video on day one, and straight away somebody who went to the event posted this picture, which sent the internet absolutely crazy. Now, first and foremost, why people are so hung up on attendances these days, I don't know, other than the fact we now do live in a tribalistic world, and I suppose we always have, where it's AEW versus WWE. Now, this is where I also upset a lot of individuals, because I like both. And I like TNA/Impact, and I like Ring of Honor, and I like New Japan, and I like a bunch of independent promotions too. I know, somebody shoot me out of a cannon. Here's the deal with this picture. While you can look at it and go, oh my gosh, AEW is not doing very well right now, if you were to flip that camera around to the other side of the arena, you would have seen thousands of people. And do you know how I know this is an accurate fact? Because the information is all out there on the damn internet. So I use WrestleTix, which is a Twitter account, X account, that you should definitely check out. Why the information is so fascinating, I don't know, but maybe it does tie into the topic today. But last night, AEW Dynamite basically sold around about 4,100 tickets. It will probably be a little bit higher than that when the final count comes in. Now look, over 4,000 tickets for a professional wrestling show is pretty damn good. If I knew that I could go to a venue and sell 4,000 tickets, I would be doing backflips. Now, when it came to the actual event, I wouldn't be able to go because I would have broken my neck after trying said backflip. But you know the deal. Neck strong. Now, has AEW done better in the past? Yes. Have they done worse in the past? Absolutely. But I can't stand this narrative where we try and spin, oh my gosh, it's so doom and gloom and everything is going to burn down to the ground and there's absolutely nothing we can do. Especially because if you did watch that show, and I did, card pops up right now, make sure you check out Ups and Downs for Dynamite over on What Culture Wrestling. That's where all the love goes down. You will know that this crowd was super duper amped. They were getting into everything. And especially when Edge, Adam Copeland, told Christian Cage to go and flub himself.
I almost forgot. Go f yourself.
Man, the noise there just got me going. It got me excited, and I sat there and I thought to myself, I am enjoying this television show. That's why we've got to stop doing it, because it's not helping anything, and also, it's a false narrative. Like, it just is. If you actually want to, you know, I don't know, crap over the numbers that a wrestling company is doing, stand by your convictions, man. Take a picture of the whole damn arena and put that out there, and then try and get into some intelligent discourse, because you need to find out what the location was, you need to find out the last time that AEW ran there, you need to see what was on the card. Now, of course, if we go over to the other side of the fence, I ain't gonna lie, there's no point pretending otherwise. WWE is killing it right now. I mean, most Raw and SmackDowns do over 10,000 people. But if we jump back a few years prior, that wasn't the case at all. And once again, you had people taking pictures, and don't get me wrong, it was AEW crazies, and there's WWE crazies too, but these same folk were all then going like, oh my gosh, WWE can't get anybody in the arena, and they're going to die. And now you fast forward to 2023, and not only did they not die, but I think this is a hill we can all die on, they are probably booming more right now than they did do in the Attitude Era. Let me rephrase that, since the Attitude Era. So the Attitude Era was the last boom period, and we'll call this the 2023 era, is another boom period. And that is great, especially when it comes to WWE, because of course they're number one, of course they're the biggest company in the world, but when the people on top are that successful, it does start dribbling downhill. And that's what you want AEW to do, because if you are happy that CM Punk, the talk of the town right now, has gone back to WWE, yes, AEW is directly responsible for that, because without All Elite Wrestling, Punk doesn't get the itch to go back to pro wrestling, and therefore he doesn't fall out with AEW and then decide, well, I want to keep doing this, and I go to WWE. It's just the truth. I mean, time does heal all wounds, but I do not think without the alternative that these things would have come together. So, you know, before you do go rag on All Elite Wrestling, you may want to think about that. And also, it does mean the wrestlers are getting paid more too. Why the hell would you not want your heroes to be paid more money? And now look, if you do go to one of these shows and it does look absolutely empty, and you want to be a negative Nancy and post it on the internet, why not? You can do that. You know, I think as well as celebrating people's successes, you also have to hold a mirror up, I suppose, to the, I don't want to call it a failure because that's too strong, but to the problems or the issues that a company is having. But that's never what this is. This is almost like clickbait. I know all about clickbait. I live for clickbait, but it's kind of only telling a part of the story, because you could have taken that side of the arena and gone, look at this, but then you could have also taken a picture of the other one, go, oh, but look at this, and then hopefully that sparks some intelligent discourse, which is what I'm trying to do here on my channel. We can talk about negative things without it being all doom and gloom. For example, over 2023, has AEW lost its way a little bit? I think with direction-wise, that's probably fair. They didn't know whether they wanted to be sports entertainment. They didn't know whether they wanted wrestling, the kind of the Ring of Honor, AEW smashing together didn't really work, but that's all right. That's okay. And also, don't forget, when you are trying to appeal to the biggest audience possible, you do have to offer a little bit of everything. I mean, that's just true. If wrestling is meant to be a touring carnival, why do you think it is? When you go to the circus, you get a lion tamer, and then you get a trapeze artist, and then you're getting somebody eaten by a hippo. I'm going off on a massive tangent now, but it also ties in because usually when these pictures get posted, you then get this massive discussion about, oh my gosh, they need to appeal to the casual fan. I am part of a group of wrestling fans where I am the nerd, obviously I am the geek, and if we were going to use a word to describe them when it comes to pro wrestling, they would absolutely be casuals. And do you know what they want to see from any wrestling promotion? I mean, one, they don't have an affiliation for any of them because again, they're casual fans. They always just want to see good wrestling and they all just want to see good promos. That's it. I know a bunch of them went to watch Swerve Strickland and Adam Page because they couldn't believe what they had read and they couldn't believe what I had told them. I had a message from one saying, wait a minute, did a wrestler drink some blood last night? And I said yes, and that was the catalyst for them to go and watch Full Gear. Now, it's going to turn some people off. I saw some people saying, oh man, a casual fan is never going to watch AEW again. Not true. This guy, maybe because he's a massive sicko, went and hunted it down. I really do think that phrase as well just does people a disservice. I'm going to bring Mario, of all things, into this. But I remember there was also a chat over in video games for a while, which was, well, you have to make Mario games really childish and easy, because otherwise kids won't understand. That ain't true at all. If you're on my age, and you were playing Mario 64, and you were playing Super Mario World, and you were playing, I don't know, Super Mario Brothers 3, the best thing about it is that they did feel complicated. Not complicated, but there was something about them where it felt like a challenge, and it felt like something you had to beat. If it was just push A and win the game, I wouldn't have been as good. I don't think Mario would have become the poster boy that he had have been, and it's the same for professional wrestling. We are doing people a disservice, as I keep going on about here. People are smart, and they do want to be challenged in a certain way, so you can give them complicated things, and they're more than happy to sit down there and figure it out. I think that's one of the reasons that WWE has done so well, because instead of just being like, man, we're going to look into a camera and tell you about all our stories and run through it in 3 weeks, no, we're going to take our time, we're going to be patient, we're going to have people hanging out in the background of other people's promos, and if you see it, great, and if you don't, well, maybe you'll catch it next time. And that's kind of true with AEW as well. If they just want to focus on good match, good match, good match, good match, then there is nothing wrong with that. There is plenty of enough professional wrestling on television, and we have seen, especially if you go back to 2019, 2020, that did hit a wave with the audience, and they were doing amazing attendances, and they were making a bunch of money. I mean, you can't throw too much shade at them. Once again, I went out there and I did my research. The tickets, the pre-sale tickets for All In 2024 went on sale the other day. AEW, before the general sale, which is tomorrow, which is the 31st of November, maybe the 1st of December, I can't remember. I get confused with calendar days because I'm an idiot, has already done 30,000. Now, I understand that's not the 80,000 they did before, but even if they top out at 50,000, that is such an achievement, and you're going to go nuts in the comments, which is fine. That's great engagement. Please go absolutely crazy. But going from 80,000 in 2023 to 50,000 in 2024 at Wembley Stadium is nothing but an incredible success. Like, again, there was a terrible time in wrestling when even trying to get 10,000 people in a building for a pay-per-view was next to impossible. And now you have AEW, who once again, yes, are not the biggest fish in the pond, were able to do that back to back. That's madness. It's crazy, and it gets me so excited about the future of the industry. Again, I had a little bit of a chat about this on Dynamite Ups and Downs today. Once again, What Culture Wrestling, cheap plug. I just think wrestling right now in general is booming because you can watch Raw and it's got exciting things going on. It's the same with SmackDown. NXT has its own personality, and that's finding a bigger audience too. Dynamite is totally fantastic. It rarely misses as far as I'm concerned, but I could be wrong. And then sure, Rampage has kind of become the forgotten son, and Collision does need a little bit more focus and a little bit direction. But I think the Continental Classic is going to tie into that. Like, I really, really do. I just love a tournament because you don't actually have to tell traditional stories. Because it is a sports-based product, the stories come from within the fact that guy's got 6 points, that guy's got no points, that guy has 1 point, and so on and so forth. Like on this Dynamite, we teased a draw, which we didn't get. Again, how many times have you watched a football soccer game for my American friends and been like, oh my gosh, they scored in the last minute, which is what Swerve versus Jay White was. And you had John Moxley, who may have got the victory, but he also got injured. If you're a Man City fan, it's like when Kevin De Bruyne got injured. What are we talking about? In August or whenever it was, all of a sudden you have to find a way to win without your greatest asset. I don't know about you, but if you are a wrestler and you've only got one leg, well, you're probably going to be a little bit boned. So if John Moxley does lose the next match, well, there's a nice little story. Not everything has to be Shakespeare. Also, have you read Shakespeare? Everything's a tragedy. Everything's like, oh man, this person died. I need some levity in my life. So yeah, I'm not going to sweat tendencies and I'm not going to sweat things like this, but I do think it's a rhetoric that we need to move away from. As far as I'm concerned, I think AEW had a very, very successful night, and moving into 2024, feels like they are going to maybe also have a brand new direction, for lack of a better term, term. I mean, QT Martial did that post on Twitter, X, the other day, where he said he's leaving because of this, and more power to him. And as we have got here randomly, I'd like to shout out QT as well, because I bumped into him a couple of times. Not only is he just a wonderful human being, but as everybody else has said, he gave me a bunch of advice and he went out of his way to help me. And who am I? Just some bald idiot on the internet? That is one hell of a nice dude. So there you go. Even if I reach one person here and they go, you know what, we should stop poo-pooing. There's the poo-poo for the comments down there. I think it's worthwhile. And also, I've been talking about wrestling for a while now, and I really do think if you approach it with a more positive vibe, you get more out of it. Doesn't mean that you have to do that. If you want to be a negative Nancy, that's perfectly cool. I just want you to have fun. But when I see people, I don't know, ragging on something that doesn't need to be ragged on, well, I just feel like I'll use my tiny little platform and I'll say something about it. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the bell ding ding so you know when my videos going live. There will be one of my CM Punk videos on the screen. Please check that out too as I get into his return and his promo. I thought that was very fun. If you are into fitness, it's GorillaMind.com/Simon. Using the code Simon will get you 10% off the supplements. I use them all. I also think they have the best pre-workout in the business. Patreon.com/Simon316 if you want to support me that way. Simon316 on social media, Instagram, Twitter, X. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo. So much stuff here. It is Pro Wrestling Tees. And what's the other one? Samson Athletics for my merchandise. There's links in the description below. I would appreciate any of the support. And also, it's pretty cool to watch a wrestling show and see somebody in your t-shirt. Sounds like a euphemism, but it is not. Again, would love to get into a big chat down there, so go as nuts as you want. Otherwise, take care. Keep wrestling positive. See you soon.